Okay, I want to talk about something called uh, curve sketching. So it was in your worksheet. It was question number 9. So it was x squared, y squared, z squared, what is it? Negative 2y plus 1 equals 0. To do the surface sketching, we put the x's together. This is the only x term. We put the y together. We put the z and then the number. This is the only one that needs completing the square. So you go x squared, you open, y, and half of this number, and then you go minus 1 squared is 1, so cancel it. So cancel the number you get from squaring, minus z squared plus 1, 0. Negative 1 and 1, they cancel each other, so now we have this. And then you sketch this one. The only thing that, if you do the x, y, and z, this is usually y, and this is usually z, and this is usually x. The only thing that makes this 0 is 0, makes this 0 is 1, makes this 0 is 0. So you need to find what's called the focal point, which is 0, 1, 0, whatever makes this 0. So 0, 0, and 1 here, so it would be this. If you remember, this one was more like a sand watch, something like this. Now, there are different versions of the surface. So, I don't know if there would be a question that involves sketching a surface, but it could be that all of them positive. It could be x squared, y squared, and the z not squared. It could be that x squared, y squared, negative z squared, but instead of 0, maybe 1. So each one will look something different. If you check your WhatsApp, I sent you a link. When I sent you the midterm and the review, I also sent you a link. If you click on it, this link to a website, you can put any curve. You can put it in this form. And you click OK, it sketches the curve for you. So this website tells you how the curve will look like if you sketch it. So it's very helpful. So try and practice. You can try this question to know how it looks like. Honestly, I don't know if there is a question like this in the midterm, possibly. I don't see it myself, but it's good to know. Okay, so we keep going. So this is surface sketching. And if you look at the midterm, there was no surface question or surface sketching in the midterm. So we get into question number 10 of your worksheet, and that's the curvature. It's basically, to do the curvature, it's steps that you need to follow. Question number 10, worksheets. So you're given a curve and they want you to do it at T1 and at T2. And where does it bend the greatest? If you ask for curvature, what you need to do is basically this. Find the first derivative, find the second derivative. The first derivative is 2t, 1, 2t, this one, 2, 0, 2. Now, if you do it at T1, I'll start at T1. If you do it at T1, all you need to do is the cross multiplication between the derivative at 1 and the second derivative at 1. So I, j, k. This at 1 would be 2, 1, 2. This at 1, it would be itself. So you go I, 2 minus 0, minus j, 4 minus 4, and k, 0 minus 2. It would be 2i minus 2k. So again, when you're asked to find the curvature, you find the derivative at the second derivative, and then you do the cross multiplication between them at the given number. This is the result of cross multiplication. You also plug this into the derivative. You plug it into this. Well, we actually did that. It's like the 2, 1, 2. Finally, your curvature would be the magnitude of this, the magnitude of the cross multiplication, over the magnitude of this cubed. So the curvature is basically the magnitude of the cross multiplication between first and second derivative over the magnitude of the first derivative cubed. If you do the magnitude for this, it would be the square root, 2 squared, 2 squared. If you do it for this one, 2 squared, 1 squared, 2 squared, and all of this to the cube. This is square root of 8. This is square root of 9, which is 3. 3 cubed, 27. So at this one, the curvature was root 8 over 27. I'll do it again at 2. So if you do it at 2, you need the derivative, the second derivative. You need to do the cross multiplication between the first derivative and the second derivative at the number. I, j, k. Plug 2 here, 4, 1, 4, and this is still 2, z2. Then enter I, 2 minus 0, enter j, 8 minus 8, enter k, 0 minus 2. So once again, it's 2i, 2k. Then the curvature. you find the magnitude of the cross multiplication over the magnitude of the derivative, but this one cubed. The magnitude here would be 4 plus 4. The second derivative, sorry, the first derivative at 2 is this. You find the magnitude, that's 16 plus 1 plus 16 cubed. Root 8, this is like 33 cubed. This is the one at 1, this is at 2, this number is larger. Here, bends greater, because this number is larger than this number. This is the curvature. I mean, there's nothing really special about the curvature. It's one of those just formulas you need to remember. Let me look quickly at the midterm review to see if there is any curvature question. No, there's no curvature question here. Okay, so in terms of curvature, there was no curvature question in the exam. There is also the contour maps. It was in your worksheet, and that was question number 12. So we do question number 12, sketching a contour map. It would be similar to this. Sketch a contour map for this function at the contour level 149. So the function itself, this is question 12 worksheet. The function in terms of x and y is 1 over x squared plus y. You want it to be at level 149. So it's the rule that we go with. You take this, make it equal the level. So it would be this equaling c. If you split both sides, then this is 1 over c. So when c is 1, this will turn into 1. When c is 4, this will turn into 1 over 4. When c is 9, then this will turn into 1 over 9. To sketch. This is 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1. The first one is a circle, radius 1. The second one is a circle, radius half. It's always the square root of this, so it would be this. The last one is a circle, radius, square root of this, 1/3. And if you do it 3D to find the surface of x, y, sorry, when you do the surface, this would be z, y, x. We have 3 different circles. We have the small circle, the 1/3, then a bigger circle, half, then the 1. It will look something like this when you do it 3D. And the 3 circles, 1/3, half. There was also another question in your worksheet. I didn't put it here. It was pretty much the same thing, but different numbers, so you can look at it. Is how to do a contour question. Now, in your exam, there was no sketch and contour. So there was no sketch service, no sketch. Doesn't mean that you're not gonna see it. It's possible, but in your exam there was nothing. Now we get into the concept of limits. So I'll do the limits from the worksheet, then I'll do the one from the exam. There are limits in your exam. If we do it from the worksheet, it's question 13 and 15. Question 13, find the limit when x, y go to 0, 0, and it's 2x cubed y squared x squared plus x squared y plus x squared plus y squared. If you just plug the number 0, 0, that will give you 0 over 0, and you know that this is a special case. Now, the idea here is, if this is the point 0, 0, you can approach it from the x-axis, you can approach it from the y-axis, you can approach it from a line, you can approach it from a parabola, so you could do many different things. One thing you could try is, you could say, well, let me try, because I know some of these are not straightforward. Let me try approaching it from along y0. So you find the limit when x goes to 0, and you cancel the y's. That would give you 2x cubed over x squared, cancel, cancel, that gives you 0. If you do it along x equals 0, limit y goes to 0. So if you make x 0, then that gives you y squared and y squared. And y squared over y squared is 1. So you see, they're not equal, does not exist. That's one way of solving the answer, is to try it along the y0, to try it along the x0, and you see if you get the same answer or not. If that doesn't tell you anything, you could try the next level. So now we have an answer, because it doesn't match. We can try approaching from y equals kx, a straight line. So we could try and approach it from a straight line. So it would be limit xy goes to 0, 0. That's 2x cubed. Instead of y, we put this, it would be kx squared, x squared, kx, x squared, kx squared. So you go limit xy 0, 0, 2x cubed, k squared, x squared, kx cubed, x squared, k squared, x squared. Limit xy 0, 0. I'll take x squared as a common factor. I have 2x and k squared. I take x squared common factor, have xk 1 k squared, cancel, put the 0, that'll give you k squared 1 plus k squared. So this is the result of the limit when you approach it from a straight line. And when you change k as k changes, every time you put a k, limit will change. So if you put a different k here, every time you put a k, limit will change, so it will give you a different answer. There are many different answers, so there is no specific answer. Limit does not exist. I'll do another question also from your worksheet. It was question 15. It was limit xy 0, 0, and it was x squared 2y squared 3x squared 5y squared. You put the 0, 0, we get 0 over 0. So we can do along straight lines. If you do it along y0, so limit x goes to 0, cancel the y, so it would be x squared, 3x squared, that's 1/3. If you do it along x0, x0, so it's 2y squared, negative 5y squared, negative 2 over 5. Obviously, two different answers does not exist. So you don't need to do anything special here. You could try a straight line, but there's no need for that. The answer does not exist. I'll go to the midterm review. Question 9 in your midterm was the question involving limits. First one, limit xy goes to 2, 1, 4 minus xy, x squared plus 3y squared. You plug 2, 1, you plug 2 squared, 1 squared, that's 4 minus 2. That's 2 over 5. Sorry, this is 4. So it's 2 over 7. So you got a number. Nothing really special. We do the second one. Limit xy going to 0, 0. And it's x squared y e to the y x4 4y squared. You first plug, and that's 0 over 0. So we can do along y0 and see what we get. It could be inconclusive, and then you need to do more work. E0 or y0 will make this 0, and the limit of a constant is the constant. If you do it along x equals 0, x equals 0 will make this 0, x equals 0, So we'll make this a 0. 0. So it's 0 equals 0. So limit is 0. So the limit does exist here. It's 0, 0. You could try, so far it's 0, 0. We could try something else to see if that's going to help us. I can try a straight line. Let's say you approach it by xk. So that will tell me xy 0, 0, x squared. Instead of y, we go xk e to the xk, x4, 4 kx squared. So you have limit xy 0, 0, or 0 in this case, kx cubed e kx, and here you have x4, 4k squared x squared. I can take x squared common factor. That leaves me with kx e kx. I can take x squared common factor. That's x squared 4k squared. Cancels, cancels. You put the 0, again that would be 0 over something, so 0. So you do it from different places, different answers. The answer is always going to be 0. So the answer for the limit is 0. Ignore his answer, the answer for the limit, and you see the correction, which is 0. The answer for the limit is 0 for this case, okay? This is the end of part 3. I'll leave you and I'll come back in part 4.